She was rejected for being poor. Years later, they begged for her help. At 16, Elena Carter understood what it meant to be an outsider in a world designed for the privileged. She had grown up in Westbrook, a town where wealth dictated worth, and at Westbrook Academy, money wasn't just a status symbol, it was a requirement for survival. Elena had none of it. Her mother, Margaret Carter, worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. They lived in a tiny apartment on the outskirts of town, worlds away from the sprawling mansions her classmates called home. She never had the latest fashion, the newest phone, or the extravagant birthday parties her peers flaunted. And because of that, she was a target. At the top of the social ladder sat Charlotte Davenport, rich, beautiful, and untouchable. Alongside her were Ava Sinclair and Rachel Hastings, her equally privileged friends who followed her lead. To them, Elena wasn't just invisible. She was disposable. She still remembered the day that changed everything. It was senior year. A prestigious internship opportunity had opened up, offering one student a full scholarship and a chance to work under one of the country's leading business moguls. Elena had spent weeks preparing for it, studying late into the night, perfecting her application. When the announcement was made, she had never felt prouder. She had won, but the victory was short-lived. Charlotte, furious that someone like Elena had taken what she believed should have been hers, used her family's influence to have the decision overturned. The internship was handed to her instead. Elena didn't cry, she didn't beg, she simply walked out of that school, vowing that one day, they would regret underestimating her. And so, she left. With nothing but determination, she worked relentlessly. She put herself through college on scholarships, took multiple jobs, and built her skills. By 21, she had launched her first startup, Carter Innovations, a tech company specializing in AI-driven business solutions. At 25, she was a self-made millionaire. Her company was one of the fastest growing in the industry, helping businesses adapt to an increasingly digital world. She had offices in major cities, a reputation built on intelligence and resilience, and a life she had created entirely on her own. She had moved past the pain of her past. Or so she thought. One day, as she sat in her sleek high-rise office, an email landed in her inbox. A struggling fashion brand was requesting a consultation with her firm, desperate for a partnership that could save them from financial collapse. Elena froze when she saw the name. Charlotte Davenport. The irony was almost laughable. Curious, she agreed to the meeting. The day of the meeting, she walked into the boardroom wearing a designer power suit, one that cost more than her entire wardrobe from high school combined. The moment she stepped in, the room fell silent. Charlotte was sitting across the table, her once flawless confidence replaced by barely concealed desperation. Beside her, Ava and Rachel sat stiffly, their smiles strained. They had once been untouchable. Now, they needed her. Charlotte spoke first, trying to mask her nervousness. She explained how the company was failing, how they were losing relevance in the market. Their investors were backing out. Their future was uncertain. Elena listened, arms crossed, expression unreadable. She could see the discomfort in their eyes, the silent plea for her to forget the past. But she wasn't that naive girl anymore. When they finished their pitch, the room fell into silence. Then, finally, Elena leaned forward and smiled. She told them she would help. On her terms, at her price, with her conditions. Because the girl they had once belittled wasn't just their last hope. She was the one holding all the power now.